Good morning. I'm Jasmine Anderson. The votes are in, and it was a big election night for Republicans on Long Island. The highest profile race was for Nassau County Executive. Democrat Seth Kozlow lost his bid to unseat Republican incumbent Bruce Blakeman. Blakeman touted the policies he says helped keep him in office.
We said we wouldn't raise taxes. We haven't raised taxes 1 penny in 4 years. That's a pretty good record.
In 2 minutes, results and a look at the other big local races and what they mean for you. Self-described Democratic socialist Zohran Mamdani claimed victory in the race for New York City mayor. After former Governor Andrew Cuomo conceded, Mamdani made a fiery speech to his supporters.
Over the last 12 months, you have dared to reach for something greater. Tonight, against all odds, we have grasped it.
Mamdani will become the city's first Muslim mayor. Police are searching for the killer of a 15-year-old boy in West Babylon. They say Liam DeLemo was stabbed Monday at a house party on Carlton Road. We're told there were nearly 100 teens at that party when a fight broke out. Cops say DeLemo was rushed to Good Sam in West Islip, but did not survive. A Bayshore company is recalling 2 kinds of salads over listeria concerns. Made Fresh Salads is pulling containers of its macaroni and tuna deluxe salads due to bacteria. The recall also applies to its Lowboy brand. Affordable housing on the East End. 7 condos at the Gables in West Hampton Beach are going up for $536,000. They're being sold to first-time homebuyers through an affordable housing process. Bridge repairs along Sunrise Highway in Hampton Bays are complete. Westbound lanes near the Shinnecock Canal Bridge have reopened. Strong storms last week caused them to shut down because of erosion. Checking out your Wednesday weather, another day of strong winds that will only get worse later tonight. A high wind watch is in effect from tonight until tomorrow morning. During the day today, gusts could top out over 30 miles per hour, but late tonight they could reach 55 miles per hour, so keep that in mind. Tomorrow the wind won't be as strong and it also won't be as warm. It's dry for Friday, but rain could move in late that night, and for the weekend it's cooler for the start of next week. That's a look at your forecast.
Long Island weather is brought to you by PTRC.
Nassau's Republican Party celebrating some big victories this morning. Ken Buffa has the highlights from election night.
I just got off the phone with President Trump, and he was delighted.
That's Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman speaking to supporters after declaring victory over Democrat Seth Kozlow. Blakeman wasn't the only big win for the Nassau Republican Party. DA Ann Donnelly also earned another 4 years, and newly installed Hempstead Town Supervisor John Ferretti also pulled out a victory. It was not the ending Nassau Democratic Party boss Jay Jacobs was hoping for.
Would I have preferred a better result here tonight? I won't kid with you. Of course I would have. And particularly because of the nature of the candidates that we run.
In Suffolk, Democrats made some headway. They flipped a few town council seats and 1 seat in the county legislature. Democratic Chairman Rich Schaefer says it's a start.
It allows us to attract other candidates for next year. I know the referendum has passed tonight. We're going to sue in court over that. I believe that will be on the ballot for the county legislature next year, and it'll make it easier to attract candidates in some of these districts and put resources into them so that we could hopefully bring back a Democratic majority in the county legislature.
Even though they lost 1 seat in the legislature, Suffolk Republicans still have control.
As I said and I promise, ladies and gentlemen, the Republican majority will continue in the Suffolk County Legislature. Thank you so much.
Ken Buffa, Newsday TV.
Now let's take a deeper dive into the results and what they mean for you. Political analysts Joy Brown and Larry Levy, Dean of Suburban Studies at Hofstra University, look at the impact of the vote.
Hello, I'm Joy Brown, and I'm with Larry Levy, Dean of the National Center for Suburban Studies at Hofstra. And we want to take a quick look
I used to work for you when I was at Newsday.
Well, I got lucky. Let's do a wrap up. What did we see in that election? I think we got to start with Bruce Blakeman.
Yeah, well, I think that you could couple Blakeman and Mamdani, two people who are the stars of the night, who have increased their stock, so to speak, their potential even for higher offices. Interesting that Blakeman, who had been very critical of Mamdani, didn't mention him once in his acceptance speech.
There's a reason for that, I would imagine. Blakeman, he would like to be governor. I don't think that's anybody's great big secret here. And if he wants to win that race, he's got to do more than Nassau, Westchester, and upstate. He's going to need a little help in the city as well.
But you could make the case. I mean, I think that's certainly arguable, but you could make the case that a prescription for running for governor as a Republican, particularly in a primary, is that you need a boogeyman, so to speak, to attack. And I think Mamdani will fit that bill. But I haven't been able to figure out why he decided not to go that way. Maybe he was blown away by how well Zoran did. Maybe he said, I better rethink how I want to deal with this cat.
Or maybe he just forgot.
Maybe he forgot. That's right.
I don't want to
It's a long night. I'm forgetting a lot of things.
I don't want to be in Bruce's head. I think Bruce can speak for himself. Joe Cairo, I think, is a big winner here. The Republicans in Nassau County, they kept all three towns. They picked up Long Beach.
Yeah, they swept, first time they ever swept it. They've had the majority on the council, but this is the first time that they ever swept all the seats. And again, when I started covering politics for Newsday in 1977, Long Beach was a Democratic bastion, swept by Republicans. Great Neck was a Democratic bastion, swept by Mazepilip. The whole map is kind of turned inside out and upside down.
Well, but one thing they didn't get was that supermajority that they were hoping for.
Not only they didn't get the supermajority, it looks like from the returns that we're seeing that they may have even lost a seat, so that it'll be an 11-8 for the Republicans. And that starts to get you, if you're the Democrats and you're looking for some glimmer of hope, something to think, hey, we're not that far away from flipping them again.
Well,
it's 2 seats.
I wouldn't go that far. What I would say is that the Democrats, who have been very successful at pushing back and advocating for their own policies, there's going to have to be a little bit more negotiating in that legislature than there was before.
Well, right. If the Republicans had gotten a supermajority, they wouldn't need a single Democratic vote to pass a capital budget.
That's correct.
And that's the budget where a lot of the so-called bacon is distributed to individual lawmakers for road and other infrastructure, parks, and the like projects in their districts. And that was one of the reasons that Democrats held up the county budget for a number of months, because Republicans were treating them like they did have a supermajority.
Well, that's true. The other thing, let's go over to Suffolk County.
Sure.
Oh, one more thing before we leave Nassau County. One of the most interesting things when we're looking at all these boards and how many terms people have in Nassau and in Suffolk, it's fascinating. Suffolk has term limits. Nassau doesn't have term limits. And the other thing worth mentioning here is that Bruce Blakeman won, but the county executive, because of the change in the even year elections, this term will be 3 years instead of the usual 4. So he's got a shorter period of time to figure out what he wants to do or where he wants to go. Also, that run for governor, if it doesn't go his way, he gets to come right back to Nassau.
Blakeman has definitely raised his stock to the point where he has a good case to make to President Trump and Republican leaders all over the state, is that, look, what I did in Nassau County, which on paper at least is purple, it's a swing area, and he rocked by 10 points.
He rocked all right, and with that, thank you, Larry.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
See all the local results and local analysis on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
May 24, 1980. This Newsday photo taken of a moment many Islanders fans will never forget. Bobby Nystrom securing the team's first Stanley Cup with this game-winning goal in overtime.
In photography, they say, would you rather be good or would you rather be lucky? I said, I'll take lucky. Because when that picture happened, it happened right in front of me, and he turned like he was looking for me.
And this photo has quite the backstory. Former Newsday photographer Dave Pokris had been on the road covering the Cuban refugee crisis when he got the call to get home for the big game.
Called my wife and said, pick me up at the airport tomorrow. She hadn't seen me in 5 weeks. She said, pick me up at the airport. She said, I'm glad to see you. I said, not for long. Drop me off at the Coliseum.
It was actually a series of setbacks that led to that iconic image. No press credential to get into the Coliseum and nowhere to set up for his shot.
The guy at the gate hands writes a credential for me. I find the other Newsday photographers. They said, all the positions are assigned. Do whatever you can. So I kind of wandered around a little bit. And then I stood in the aisleway over the tunnel where the players come out to the ice.
Pokris says the fans were electric the entire game, and even more so as it entered overtime when Nystrom made the game-winning goal.
When I was lucky enough to score that goal, it was like just a sigh of relief. It was like the emotion had built up, and then all of a sudden you realize that it's done, it's over.
The next day edition, the Sunday paper, was the very first time that Newsday had ever put processed color on a page.
The Islanders went on to win 3 more Stanley Cups for 4 in a row, something no other NHL team has been able to do since. And as they play their 54th season, fans are hoping for another shot at the cup. Reporting for Newsday TV, I'm Macy Eglund.
Macy, thank you. See more Picture This stories on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. See more on these stories on Newsday.com and watch us streaming anytime on Local Now, YouTube, and the other services you see here. I'm Jasmine Anderson. More local news coming up.